What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Got a fun video today, guys, where we are looking at comic books as an investment. I did a video about 3 years ago now where I took some Starbucks stock of mine, pulled it out, and took that money and spent it on comic books. In that video 3 years ago, I talked about rates of returns and looked at how I felt investing in these books would bring me a larger return on investment in the future, possibly, than keeping my money in my Starbucks stock. Now, did I make the right decision at least 3 years later? We're going to look at that today, guys. Before I go into it, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please take the time to do so. But with that being said, let's look at these numbers, guys. So what you guys are seeing on screen here, we're going to focus, if you can see right here, these are the books that I purchased. Okay, guys, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this is the Infinity Gauntlet set 1 through 6. All right, we're going to look at my purchase price. We're going to look at fair market value. We're going to look at ROI, which is return on investment. For those that don't know, return on investment basically means profit. So if you buy something for $10, right? And then you sit on it, it ends up being worth $100 and you sell it for $100, your ROI would be $90. You subtract what you paid for it, and whatever you have left is your return. All right. We're going to look at return on investment in both dollar amount and percentage amount. Both do matter. All right. and then we're going to look at what Starbucks stock was at the time that I sold it or cashed out, took that money and purchase the comics, and then we're going to look at what the Starbucks stock is now and see which one would have brought me a higher return. All right, guys, let's look at the first book here. So we're going to look at Amazing Spider-Man 300, which has been a huge mover. Most of us probably know this. Now, my book it's a CGC 8.5. My purchase price was $275. Current fair market value, guys, $600. So if you look at right here, my return on investment in dollar amount is $325. That means, again, if I sold that book today and got fair market value for it, I would have a profit of $325. What is my ROI in terms of percentage? 118%. That's huge. That's 118% of what I originally paid for it, guys. All right. So I did really good with that book. Let's look at the second one. Inhumans, #1. The original Bronze Age run, volume 1. The grade it's a CBCS 8.5. My purchase price, $40. Uh, Current fair market value, $62. Not too big of a difference, but hey, return on investment, dollar amount, $22. Made a little something. That's a 55% return on investment. That's solid, especially since I believe this is a book that's a very, very much a long-term investment. You see that slow growth over time. All right, so let's move on to Marvel Premiere #1. This is the first appearance of Adam Warlock. So basically, the first appearance of him taking on the Adam Warlock mantle. All right. This is a CBCS 6.5. Purchase price, $85. Current fair market value, $126. Decent here. That's a $41 return on investment. That's a percentage return on investment of 48%. This is a book that's kind of slowed down since the delay of, Guardians Volume 3. Once we really see him in the MCU, I think this is going to pick back up again. But again, anything Adam Warlock, long-term investment, but still 48% return, that's decent. All right, let's look at Amazing Spider-Man 51. Second appearance of Kingpin, first cover appearance of Kingpin. It's a lower grade, so you're not going to get the return that you would with a higher grade of one of these. 4.5 raw. My purchase price was $50. Um, Even for back then, I probably could have got it for a little cheaper. $65 current market value, 4.5 raw, $15 return on investment. It's not much in terms of dollar amount, but look, a 30% return on investment is not too shabby. 3 years, 3 years down the line. At least I haven't lost yet here, right, guys? All right, let's look at Wolverine number one. CGC 9.6. Purchase price $67. Current fair market value $181. Dollar amount, return on investment $114. This was a good one. Look at the percentage, guys. Return on investment, percentage wise, 170. That's when you look at percentage, this is the biggest one yet. Even over the ASM 300, which has been skyrocketing. Yeah, that Wolverine number one, man, I got that for a good price. Where if you look at it now, 170% increase on return on investment. Solid work here. All right, no whammies here so far, really. But the big question is, yeah, but how is Starbucks stock doing, right? All right, let's look at this. Amazing Spider-Man number 266 is the first appearance of Silver Sable. Um, CBC S 8.5. Purchase price 42. Current fair market value 47. It hasn't done much at all. 5%, $5 return on investment, 12% return on investment in percent wise. Look, I got it for a decent price. It helped me, get a Spider-Man key because I collect Spider-Man books. Simple fact that it hasn't increased in value too much doesn't bother me. But again, we're looking at I took this money out of stocks that were growing in terms of return. So regardless if I'm happy that I have it, is it going to help be a better investment comparing it to the Starbucks stocks? Let's look at the last set of books here, guys. So I bought an Infinity Gauntlet set 1 through 6 and a 9.8 raw. Now, what I'm not even showing here, guys, is I received a Infinity War number 1 with this as well. And I'm not even calculating that value in. And that book isn't too crazy, but it's a high grade. It's probably like a 9.6, 9.8 as well. And I haven't looked, but I know a high grade of that book can go from like $10 to $15 easily. But nothing too crazy. But I just put 1 through 6. Now, this is what I did. These numbers right here are the current fair market value of each book. Now, I paid for all six $60. I mean, look at number one right now, current fair market value alone is worth 65. But current fair market value for all of them, 1 through 6 right now in 9.8 grades, $173. That's a return on investment of $113. Return on investment percent wise is 188. Another really good solid investment there. So let's look at this section right here. Total cost, guys. My total cost for all these books was $619. So that means I pulled out $619 in Starbucks stock. Okay. And I spent $619 on comic books. Those comic books today have a total fair market value of $1,254. So what does that mean? My total return on investment in dollar amount, my total profit, guys, was $635. That's a percent return on investment of 103%. So basically, I doubled my money. Okay, a little more. I went a little above doubling my money. Here it is, guys. Starbucks stock. Now, this price right here was 3 years ago. The cost per share, okay, was $57. That means per share they were worth $57 each. Okay. I, at the time, had 11 shares of stocks that were worth $57 each, guys. Again, total value, $619. Right now, which is actually, this was last week because I put these numbers together last week. Right now, they're actually lower. The stock market, due to more outbreaks in COVID and whatnot, the market has been dipping. It dipped really hard last week. It closed with a huge loss on Friday. Hopefully, it'll open up uh, a bit strong, this coming week. But yeah, it hurt hard. I believe Starbucks stock is sitting at 86, $87 right now, so it took a decent hit. But I think it'll bounce back. But when I did this, it was at $90. All right, so current Starbucks share, again, give or take a dollar or two, $90. Um, Current value for my sold shares. So that means, guys, that if I would have kept my 11 shares of stocks that 3 years ago were worth $619, if I would have kept them in Starbucks stock and not took them out and bought comic books, today they would be worth $990, give or take what the market's doing right now, right? So that means I would have had a rate of a return on investment of $33 per share, which would have been a total return on investment of $371. That is a return on investment percentage of about 60%, 59.94. That's 60%. Okay. Let's compare that, guys. This is what happens. This is what happened with the comic books. I had a return on investment of $635 with a return on investment percentage of 103%. Starbucks would have got me $371 and about a 60% return on investment. So who do you think won? What do you think was the better choice? Starbucks stock value right now, $990. Total comic fair market value, $1,254. So that's a difference, guys, of what, $264. So I lucked out, guys, a difference of $264 currently at the time that the Starbucks stock was at $90. Now it would be a little more than would be about $2 a share, 11 shares. Um, that's what, 22 bucks, right? It'd be a little higher of profit for me going with the comic books, right? But the point being is that right now, as of today, I made a sound decision. Because right now I can sell these comics and invest it in more Starbucks stock. Still, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. But the bottom line, I made more money taking that money out of Starbucks stock 3 years ago and investing it in comics. That's if I sell them right now, though. The thing is, guys, you never know. You never know with the comic market. You never know with the stock market. Now, ultimately, Starbucks stock is a solid stock that continues to grow. Now, rate of return is something that I didn't calculate here, but rate of return, guys, is what something is increasing or decreasing like on an annual basis every year. So when you look at the rate of return for a few of these books, it's not very high. But when you look at the rate of return annually for like ASM 300 or Wolverine #1, it's decent. It's decently high. And those things were the ones that were really supporting me to come out on top here. Starbucks continues to have a decent rate of return year after year. So if Amazing Spider-Man cools off, right? 300, that is. Amazing Spider-Man 300. If it cools off, maybe 5 years from now, Starbucks stock will increase more and more year over year with a higher rate of return year after year than these comic books. And maybe by that time, I would have been in a negative, and it would have been smarter at that time to then keep my money in Starbucks stock. So you never know, guys. But that's the fun with investing in anything. Look, I love the comic book hobby for a multitude of reasons. And hey, investing is one of the reasons that I enjoy the hobby. And look, I love coming here and crunching these numbers with you guys. So I hope this kind of gave you guys perspective. And let me know if you guys have done anything like this. But look, I want to keep doing videos like this to help you guys understand how to look at comic books as an investment. So, with that being said, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, maybe you learned something, maybe you took some things in. Let me know your thoughts below. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. If you haven't checked out my 3K subscriber contest, go find that video on my channel right now and see what you got to do to enter. We are so close to 3K. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.